So, while this is a pretty sad topic, I wanted to do it just to, keep his memory alive, so to speak, to honor him, if you want to put it in those words. My cousin, Garrett, who died yesterday. And he was 23 years old, and he had a chromosomal imbalance for his entire life that basically caused a bunch of different problems that he had to endure. One of which was that he couldn't feel physical sensation that much, if at all, which basically made it really difficult for him. Like if he got injured or something like that, he couldn't really tell. He wouldn't get like the pain sensations and stuff like that. And he couldn't speak. He had to have like a board that he would press stuff on that would say words. And outside of that, like the problems that he had due to this condition were like he was perfectly intelligent. He was perfectly intelligent. It didn't affect his actual brain function, as far as I know. So I mean, I can't even imagine what it must have been like for him. Like he had great coordination. He had a little go-kart type dune buggy thing that he could drive around and stuff like that, and he was amazingly good at it. Like no coordination skills, perfectly intelligent, and yet he had to be confined to speaking on, like a board, having to press buttons and stuff like that, or do gestures and stuff like that. And I can't even imagine what that must have been like. That must have been just like torture to have to deal with that. And yet, whenever you were around him, he was generally in a pretty good mood, and he'd be laughing about stuff, and he'd have a good time about stuff, and it's rare to see people be that happy when they're in such a condition as he was. And he had a lot of family and friends that did a lot for him and really cared for him, and a lot of people loved him. And so it's really sad that he died. He actually he was having seizures as of recent, because I'm going to guess his condition probably got worse, and so forth. And they don't really know why he was having them, as far as I know. But he had the seizures, and then eventually he ended up suffocating because of them. He couldn't breathe and so forth. And it's just, it was through the course of the night, so they didn't know. There's no way for them to know. And yeah, so. But his parents are amazing people. They've taken care of him like a hawk from day one, and he's got a sister that's taken really good care of him. And it's just it's crazy. You go to bed and you wake up and one of your family members is dead. And for all intents and purposes, that could be you. That could be your family member or friend or cousin or sister or dad or whatever else, and you don't know. And so it's like, this is just kind of a message to, remind you all that you should appreciate both the people that are around you, that are actually, there for you, and your friends and family, and even your coworkers. And you should also appreciate the fact that you're alive. Because regardless of what you believe in, regardless of your religion, once this life is over, once you do die in this life, then that is it for this life. Depending on your religion or your belief, you may get reincarnated, you may go to heaven, you may any number of things. But this life, the one you have here on the earth with this body and the relationships you've formed with people and everything else like that, that is gone. That, as it is in itself, is gone. So you really should appreciate that, and don't throw it away or screw it up by doing a ridiculous amount of drugs and messing yourself up and dying an early death, or, anything like that. This isn't exactly a scripted message, so me. But yeah, that is about it. So I don't really have anything else to say about that, but at least he had a good life, as good as he could have with his condition, and that he had a lot of people around him that cared and so forth. And like I said, he was always in a good mood. So, but that is my cousin Garrett, and rest in peace.